Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are live streaming on YouTube and Facebook, and please welcome your MC for today, Sergio Delamora.
Hey, Neumi Nation, good day to you. Good morning. There are a lot of people that I was not expecting on this call this evening, but it's such an exciting moment that we have a special training today from our CEO, Aaron Rennert. Now, I want to remind you that this is the first of three live events for this special training. So don't worry if you have people in Europe or if you have others in other parts of the world. We'll be repeating this training next Wednesday for the first Wednesday of the month at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time and 6 p.m., which is a traditional members' night time. The reason I'm saying Mountain Standard Time is because this Sunday, daylight savings ends here in Utah, so we'll be in a different hour. So look out for that as well. We'll be an hour behind a week from today uh, when you watch the opportunity meeting. So I want to welcome all of you, and please take your notebooks out, take some notes. We have put a lot of good thought into this and just doing a lot of research and talking with the field of how we can continue being field led and taking this opportunity of Neumi everywhere that needs to be. So I would like to welcome Aaron Rennert, our CEO. Welcome, Aaron.
Well, Sergio, thank you very much. And also for Alfredo, thank you very, very much for translating for us tonight. I was just watching a TV show the other night with my wife, and I knew this was coming up, and I knew Alfredo was going to be translating, and it was shot from Panama. And so I couldn't help but think maybe I need to go to Panama and see Alfredo pretty soon to have a chance to really see a beautiful country and some beautiful sights and some beautiful history as well. So at any rate, I am so happy to be with you all tonight. As a matter of fact, as Sergio mentioned, we have people that are popping in from all over, but I love seeing some of the people that we had on the Diamond Cruise with us that are able to join us, like Genevieve, who I happen to see at the top of my screen. So it's easy. I, of course, see Florence, who just absolutely, think the world of her. And so I can't wait to see her on next year's Diamond Cruise because I know it's going to happen. There's no question that that's going to happen. So I appreciate Michael putting together the video and some of the thoughts behind it, because there's nothing more special for me than to see some of the activities and some of the adventures that we went on, but to see the familiar faces, some of these people that I now consider to be incredible friends and associates of mine and partners in this business, as Steve always talks about. We are now partners. And so when I talk about the business, this is what I love doing. And everybody knows this. This is my passion in life. And everybody has to have purpose. The first and foremost thing that I want to tell everybody tonight is I want you to really think about what is your purpose? What is the underlying purpose for everything that you do in life? It's not necessarily about just your why, but what drives you to your purpose? And what is that purpose? And as you start to define and you start to somewhat understand a little bit better about what it is that drives you, what it is that keeps you motivated, what is it that keeps you in front of people having conversations, and in spite of all of the no's and the wonderful yeses, that you still are standing there helping people understand a little bit more about product, a little bit more about the compensation, a little bit more about this business. And really what I love about tonight is that for those of you that are on the call, we really are going to focus on the business. And that's not something that we do a lot. A lot of times we spend so much time talking about our products. We talk about the science, the technology, how the product works in the human body with the chemistry and in the cell and all those wonderful things. And we love that. That's a big part of what we do. It's an incredible part of our story, and it's an incredible part of our mission. But what I love talking about is the business. And I had a chance to meet a person that both Chris and Sergio have worked with in the past. He has an incredible background and really somebody that I really connected with today. We sat down and talked for about an hour and a half and really got to know each other and learning more about his background and his experiences, and really about some of the wisdom that he may be able to bring to Neumi and some of the thoughts and ideas that kind of were suggested during the meeting. But one of the things that he said goes along with purpose. One of the things that he mentioned is we knew that we were coming into spend some time with Latin America tonight and have this chance to really do it not only in English, but to really have a chance to do it simultaneously in Spanish, and to be able to do that, to reach across many, many countries and many, many cultures and many, many communities is really something that I desire to do as much as I possibly can. It's easy to get stuck in the day-to-day business and the administrative tasks that are associated with running a company. But what really drives me is the relationship that we have with the field, that certain relationship that is difficult to find in traditional business. But in this industry, you can find it like crazy. And so I look forward to the thoughts and the ideas and the suggestions that come out as we talk about what I consider to be one of the most important aspects of the business, and that is just getting started. And many times what happens is that we want to climb up the ladder so fast that we forget about the basics of the day-to-day. We forget about those things that are most important in the stepping stones, if you will, on the path to success, because there's a starting point, and that starting point is very defined. It starts here, and then you've got to work your way forward or work your way up, however you want to kind of look at the day-to-day. But what I want you to think about from today's perspective is I want you to think about, are you in business? Now, one of the things that's interesting about that is that when Sergio and I had a chance to go through and spend some time in Europe in January and February of this year, uh, every different meeting that we went to, whether it was Latvia, whether it was Lithuania, whether it was Lyon, France, whether it was over in Romania or Hungary, every single meeting that we went to, I always raise my hand and I ask a question: who in here is in business? And that question is very specific because I want you to think about this industry and what you're currently doing as a business. So are you in business? And if you are in business, then let's treat it like a business. Let's talk about business terms. Let's talk about the things that drive us, that make things most important. And every single meeting that I'm in, every single person raises their hand, just like you see on the screen right now. Every person raises their hand and they say, I'm in business. And the reason that they say that is because it is a business. And if you treat it like a business from the day that you start your business, and what I love about this industry is that you can start this business with very little capital investment. But my first and most important part of that is that if you're treating it like a business, let's treat it like a business all the way through the business aspects. Let's understand the events that have to happen in order for you to start working on it as a business and as associated like a business. So one of the things that I always talk about is, if you're in business, let's talk about the first step and the most important step in your business, and that is your return on your investment. Because if you made an investment into your business, I always tell people, you made an investment into yourself. You really did, because you're using products that you want to use every day. You're using products that give you health and energy and stamina and endurance. It's a product that gives you anti-aging effects, a relationship to really reverse the signs of aging in so many different ways. And remember, folks, aging is not a disease. Aging, unfortunately, is something that we all deal with. So it's a natural consequence of life. So how can we change our aging and really start taking it backwards? So boy, we love the product for that reason. Now let's talk about, how do I get my return on my investment? How do I start taking back some of that investment that I put into my business? And how do I start bringing that back in? Well, the first thing that you want to think about is that if you're in business, you don't want to think about business as an investment that you never see money's coming back from. You always want to think about it from a profitable investment. You want to think about, how do I become profitable in my business? You never want to be negative. I used to always use the terms red and black, right? An accounting principle. If you're in the red, not so good. If you're in the black, good. So you want to think about, how do I get back to my even point, just to start with, because that is the most important part, is the aspect of, are you in business? Get your return on your investment. So we know a couple of things. It's really simple with our compensation plan to be able to help people understand, how do they get the return on investment. Well, we know that 4 people, just 4 people, as you bring them in at or above the same amount that you invested, will give you your initial investment back. So if you started your investment with $100, and we're just going to go with easy terms tonight, but if you started it with $100, you have this wonderful investment in terms of getting your money back, that you have this chance to see 25% commission on those first orders that come through. So the beautiful thing is that you now have, with 4 people, you now have your return on your investment. You've received back your $100. And the most important part about that is that if you're teaching your people, and we're going to get to this in the next point, if you're teaching your people the same thing, get your return on your investment first. Every single person that comes in the door should be working to get their return on their initial investment. That return is what will give them the belief to move forward. Believe it or not, folks, that is what will drive them and propel them into motion. And it's a motion that you can't slow down, because once that belief is built, you're going to see people start to see that there's an opportunity, a return on investment, a chance to get your money back, a way to get your money back. And just with 4 people at or above the same amount that you came in at, you will see that return on investment with just that 25% commission. So the beautiful thing is, bring those 4 people in. And now as we start working on it, I want to teach people how to get their product for free. And I've always said this, it's a simple conversation, but it's one that not a lot of people are willing to have. And the reason that I bring it up is that when you're in business, you want to be able to cover your costs, right? If you're not covering your costs of your business, then your business isn't profitable. But if you can cover the costs of your day-to-day activities of your business, which qualifying by buying enough product to have in your possession so that you're using that product every day consistently, you're a product of the product, well, then you're spending about $100 a month on your product. So think about it from that perspective. Now, of course, the numbers could change depending on who you are and the individual that you are and the family that you have. It might be a husband, a wife, it might be a whole family that's using that product. But if you're using that product and you just have a really simple aspect of getting your product for free, think about this way. We have this incredible 90-day success planner that you guys can use that allows you to have a lot of information right at your fingertips. And that information gives you the ability to walk through a lot of what I'm going to go through now, and allows you to start going through a lot of information so that you can start digging in and learning a little bit more about how you're going to get there. So here's the beautiful thing. When you start working on your uni-level commissions, that's really your next stage. That's your next developing piece of your business. So you're really starting to work from your welcome bonuses, and now you're starting to teach your people how to duplicate. And by duplication, you're now teaching people the Neumi 1, 2, 3. It's a really simple process that as you've started bringing people into the business and as you start referring people in and enrolling them into your business, you will see that you've got this incredible opportunity through duplication to complete out your power of 3 bonus. Now that power of 3 bonus, the reason that that's such a beautiful piece of the compensation plan is that now you're halfway to your cost of covering the cost of your products. So the beautiful thing is that with $50 and with your 4 people, you now have $28 that's coming in plus the 50, you're now at a total of $78. So with a little bit more duplication, just a few more people, now you're starting to teach them how to get their power of 3. So by teaching them how to get their power of 3, you're now starting to see the duplication happen, and you're teaching your people how to do exactly what you did. That's pure duplication, folks. And that pure duplication is what really starts driving the behavior of the people that you're working with every day. So realize this, as you start working with them, you've got the $100 that's being spent by the person on my left, over on the left side, and they've brought in their first 3 people. So guess what happens? They're close to getting their return on their investment. They may be very close to getting their power of 3, and they may be working very aggressively on getting their product for free. That one person, that one individual that you taught how to do exactly what you did, that person is now working towards that. The second person, the middle person in your power of 3, is now starting to put their people in. So they've got 2 people. The person, of course, on the side, they've got 1 person. And then you've still got your person that you brought in, that 4th individual. And so each one of those individuals start adding up to a total of $120. Now you're covering the cost of your product every month, getting it for free, and teaching others how to do exactly the same. So again, we talk about product for free, and I've told people this for years and years and years in this industry. If I can teach everybody how to get their product for free, I've done my job. You know why? Because I've taught you how to not be in a position where you're spending money every month but not making any money. Because if you're in business, I want to teach you how to make it profitable. I want to teach you how to be profitable and how to see your net profit after everything's said and done, maybe be a couple of dollars, right? Just enough that it's starting to create that belief system. But what I really want you to think about is the word duplication. Duplication will start to teach and educate and give people the ability to see that what they're doing and how they're doing it will give them the opportunity to learn and do exactly what you're doing. And now you've got a team that's working together. That team means that there's upline support. It means that there's downline support. It means that you're working together and collaborating to try to figure out how to go out and help people achieve the same success that you're looking to achieve. But by working on it together, it allows all of you to start doing things that you may have never thought you could do before, but you're now doing it as a result of being a part of this incredible process, a system that's really teaching you how to do what you need to do. Now, the third step is really an opportunity where you're starting to learn about a lifestyle change. And so this individual that I met with today, I said, what do you love most about this industry? Now, tell me what you love most about the industry. And he said, you know what I love most about the industry? He's originally from Costa Rica. He moved to America not too many years ago. And so he's learning and growing and understanding a little bit more about, American culture, et cetera. But what he did was he referred back to when he was in Costa Rica. And then as he's worked with other individuals throughout Latin America over the years, he started talking a little bit about it. And he talked about some of the things that he's been able to accomplish. And he said one of the things that he loved was he said he loved seeing people be able to make more money than they ever could in the traditional jobs that they were in, that they could make more money. And now this is across Latin America, it's across many communities in the world, that they could have an opportunity with a very low barrier of investment, be able to start working on building an opportunity for themselves, that they are in total control and have the freedom to do the things that they would like to do. So the job that they had wasn't giving them what they hoped they would have, but the ability to see that there's an opportunity there really gave them the chance to notice and identify, how do I start making a lifestyle change? Well, one of the things that we know is that over the years, we've been able to see a lifestyle change comes with about a $500 monthly addition into your household budget. So when you think about that, what does that really mean? It means that you have an opportunity to change your life and your family's life and those people that rely on you by being able to invest back into your family. Now, what does that mean? Well, what are we looking to help people do? We're helping, and I've said this before, there are a lot of people that raise their hands when you talk about goals and dreams and dream boards and other things, and they raise their hand and they say, oh, I'd love to buy a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. Well, I'd love to live in a mansion. I'd love to have a big yacht. I'd love to have a private island. I'd love to have something that's big and magnificent that I can have this big, beautiful castle, etc. And I always tell people, you know what? The people that I know, they're not buying a mansion. The people that I know, they're not buying a Ferrari. They're not buying a Lamborghini. Sure, it's a beautiful dream. It's a wonderful thing to have as something that you would love to achieve at some point in your life. There's nothing wrong with having big goals and big dreams. But what I'll tell you is that most of the people that I deal with every day around the world are looking for ways that they can pay their utility bills, buy gas for their car, pay rent on their home, be able to go to a dinner with their family, maybe even go on a vacation or a holiday with their family. But for the most people don't have enough money to do those sorts of things. Most people don't have the ability to feel that they have an opportunity to really take those next steps and really go out and do something that they feel, honest to goodness, right now, they might feel guilty to do it because they just don't have enough monthly income to support anything outside of their regular day-to-day living expenses. But what we can show them is that they have a chance with Neumi to be able to change their lifestyle completely. And I've said this before, but what you really what you need to think about, what you have to think about is, what does $500 additional in your family's budget look like for you? Or if you don't have a family, what does an extra $500 a month look like for you? What does it do for you? And so I always ask that question before I show people how easy it is to get to a lifestyle change, because once you start seeing the changes that can happen as you start to go into this process, this system, this delivery that gives you the ability to go to those next steps, it really does give you that chance. So as we go into some of the numbers, let's look at what it looks like as people start to see they've got this power of 3 bonus. Now, the cool thing is that you're really working on your second level power of 3. So we all know that with 3 people, you get your $50. And so remember that. That's a number that you want to keep in that mathematical equation that you're working on. But on the flip side of this, when you're now working on your power of 3 on the second level, this is where the magic starts to happen. Because the first thing that you've done is you've taught your people that you brought into the business how to do exactly what you did. You found your 3 people, really you found your 4, but you found your 3 people to max out your power of 3 on your first level. Now you've taught them how to do exactly what you did. Again, duplication, folks. We're seeing duplication across the board. But what this means is that now that you've done exactly what you're teaching your people to do, now it opens up your power of 3 on the second level, which is worth $250. So you're more than halfway there to get to this lifestyle change that we're talking about. So you've still got your 4 people on the first level. They're continuing to generate about a $28 commission. No big deal. We're not worried about that right now. What we're worried about is getting into level 2, because now between both of these, the power of 3 and your total amounts of money that you're currently working with, you're now at a number that takes you to about $500 a month. So as you go through and you start looking at the duplication that's happening, your people are now teaching their people how to duplicate. What does that mean to you? It means you've opened up a whole new third level of pay that is now generating $140. So your total amount all in is $502, which means that you now, with a small number of people, you now are seeing a total number of people, about 26 to 30 people, I think is the number, is giving you the ability to get to that number, which will allow you to have a power of 3 on your second level, $250, and then a total of about $252 in total commissions that are now driving towards you. It doesn't count any of your new enrollments. It doesn't count any of your welcome bonuses. All this is straight commissions off of your unilevel and your power of 3. But what you've done is you've taught people exactly what you've done. You've created duplication within your organization. The reason that that is so important is that now you'll start to see their belief start to happen on their first level. And then they're starting to work with their people, and they start to see that organization start to develop. And now you've got people working on their second level power of 3, which means you're now working on your third level power of 3, which is, again, we're not even going to get into that right now. But the reason that I want to spend time on that is because through your duplication efforts and through the collaboration with your organization, with the people that you're working with, and you're giving people the opportunity to really learn and grow and understand, this is giving you the opportunity to teach people that duplication that will help them achieve the success that they're looking for. It'll also help rise all boats because their tide is going to rise it. So the good news is, as you start to see that there's opportunity, you're starting to see that these organizations are growing, they're developing. This becomes your foundation, and your foundation really starts to grow. So now you see this $500 coming into your organization. That $500 a month really changes your life. And why do I say that? Because $500 a month, according to all the experts, all the financial planners, starts to change people's life at about $500 additional in their monthly income, in their budget, so that they can do those things that I talked about earlier. Make sure that they're paying their utilities, make sure that they're paying their car payment, make sure that they're paying for the lifestyle that they'd like to show their family and their friends, giving them an opportunity for a holiday once a year or maybe twice a year. Those are the things that people are looking for. So can you imagine just having an extra $6,000 a year that's coming into your budget? That's really what we're talking about. So I want you to really take a step back as you're going through a lot of this information. I see people taking notes. I see people nodding in agreement, looking at their notes, kind of trying to understand it. And I want you to think about how simple this is. You've started with your return on your investment. You've now started to learn a little bit more about how you get into your product for free. Now you're starting to work on this incredible lifestyle change. And now you start working on your rank. And this is where you start working aggressively with the people that you're working with every day, because ultimately you want to start ranking up. You want to start working on taking that next step and going from member to senior member, from senior member up to a 1-star. And that's really where the magic starts to play in, because once you hit 1-star, that's really where things start opening up. It's where ranks and bonuses start paying out better. It's where you start seeing some things start to develop within your organization. And now you've got different legs starting to build. And you've got different people that are stepping up as leaders within your organization. You're starting to see how these people work. And this is where the magic begins, because once you see that, you're starting to see that people are starting to recognize their success. So you're now starting to work with that purpose that I talked about earlier. What is your purpose? What is your why? What's driving you every day? What helps you become passionate about the day-to-day things that you're working on? And those are the things that I want you to think about, because ultimately you're helping people with motivation. You're helping people with inspiration. You're helping people with details and knowledge and information that will allow them to have more success than they've ever had in their day-to-day. And I hope that that's true for many, many people that come into Neumi. I hope that they have more success than they've ever had in this industry. I hope they have more success than they've ever thought they could have in any business venture that they've ever done, because we want to show them the way. Once we show them, it creates belief. And once that belief hits, there's no going backwards. They don't have the ability to say, well, I don't believe in this anymore. All they can do is go forward, because they're seeing activity creates, through that action, creates transactions. And those transactions are starting to pay. And so again, as you start to work on your goals, you start working on your rank, and your rank will start driving you. And so what you want to do, and what I recommend everybody does tonight, is really sit down and think about what it is that you want to do in terms of your rank in Neumi. Of course, we just had this incredible diamond trip. I mean, I'm telling you, I got on the phone with Michael Firth after we were done. I think after he traveled about 67 hours or 100 hours or whatever it was back to Australia. And I think it was just such a grind, right? And I remember he got on the phone and he looked right at me, and you could tell he was tired. I think he'd just gotten back from taking his last flight from Sydney back to, I believe, the Sunshine Coast. And so as he got back into his house, and he looked at me in the eyes and he said, Aaron, that was the greatest event that we have ever had. And I thought, that's the magic of why we do these things. It's the magic of what drives people. It's the magic of the motivation and the inspiration and the things that we work on every single day. And those are the things that get people excited. Well, what we had afterwards, I think Michael went off to Greece. I think May and some others went off to, and Michelle went off to France. I think that Lorena went off to Spain with Marco. And again, we just started creating this energy across the world that is exactly what we hope to do and what we wanted to do. So again, with purpose, what is it that you want to become in Neumi? So that's a rank. So think about the rank bonus exactly as that. It just is part of your income earned when you hit those ranks. Now, what I really want you to think about as we continue to grow in this learning curve here is that I want you to think about your own personal goals. Okay. So where are you going from here? It's not just about rank. It's about your personal goals. What is it that you expect to accomplish in your business? Because again, you have total control. It's up to you. If you want to work 5 hours a week on your business, work 5 hours a week. Expect a return that probably gives you 5 hours worth of return. If you want to work 100 hours a week, you'll probably be pretty tired after a few weeks of 100 hours a week, and you'll probably start slowing down and get burnout. So I always recommend put a plan together. Put a strategy together, block out your time for the day, identify the resources that you need to have, identify the people that are willing to work with you and that match your energy and that match your pace. If you ever gone out, I remember playing tennis with a guy that was an incredible tennis player. And we went out to the tennis court one day, and I was young. I was in my 20s. He was in his 20s. We went out to play, just volley, tennis. Let me tell you, every serve went right past me. And I finally said to him as he finally, won every game that we played, I said, listen, it's a lot of fun playing tennis with you. I haven't hit one ball. That's not really playing tennis. What really would be fun is if you just lobbed it to me and I lobbed it back and we played and volleyed back and forth until I got a little more comfortable with it, until I got a little bit better, until I learned a little bit more. And as I learned a little bit more, we actually started playing some fun tennis. But while he was playing tennis at his level and I was playing tennis at my level, those levels were not even close or compatible in terms of the energy that I needed to expend trying to run all over the court and try to return his ball, or him trying to run all over the court, trying to fetch my ball after it went out over the fence, or after it went into the corner, or after it was rolling across, rolling underneath the net, or wherever it was. And I say that because you really have to think about those individuals that you want to work with every day and who is willing to match your pace and match your effort and match your energy. Because once you find that, lock into those people. Because if you found that person that is willing to work with you like that, then share with them your income goals. And the reason that I tell you this is that when you share your income goals with that person that's willing to help you achieve that level of success, and again, you want to find somebody that's successful to help you do it, somebody that's done it, not somebody that's never done it. That's obviously not going to work. So you want to find that individual that's going to help you achieve that level of success that you're looking for. So when you start talking about your income goal, it's about your vision. It's about what you want to accomplish. It's about, do I want $1,000 a month, or am I looking for $10,000 a month? What is it that you can create a clear target with and identify the areas that you're looking to achieve, and then match it with the person that's willing to help you achieve it? So I always tell people this, and I can look right at Michael because he's out on my screen as well right now. But I can tell you that if I sat down with Michael and I said, Michael, I'm new to the business. I'm new to the industry. I'm new to Neumi. But here's my goal. And here's what I want to achieve. How do we do it? How do we do it together? And I say, how do we do it? Because Michael gave me a promise. And he said, look, when you join my team, I'm going to help you achieve that level of success that you're looking to achieve. I'm going to teach you everything I know. I'm going to give you all of the secrets that I've learned over the years, the good, the bad, the ugly. I'm going to teach you everything. And I'm going to give you all of this because I want you to be successful. You see, now Michael and I are aligned. Michael wants me to be successful in my business, but it's not just my business, it's our business, because we're working together on our business. So once you start having these conversations, you have to personalize it. You have to really start working and breaking it into ranks, bonuses, and the number of individuals in your organization, in your team, that you'll be able to work on. So Michael tells me, hey, Aaron, if you want to hit that number, you've got to have about 180 people in your organization, or you've got to have 427 people in your organization if you work backwards. And that's how many people you need actively working in your business, qualifying every month in order for you to hit your $3,000 a month goal or your $5,000 a month goal. But whatever that goal is, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, what you need to think about is, what is it that I want to accomplish as I'm going through this process? Because ultimately, everything you do on a daily basis, the amount of time, effort, energy, and resources that you're willing to put in your business will translate into your income goal being met. So that's how you have to think about it. So I want to spend some time with you right now. I want you to think about, what is it that you want to accomplish in Neumi? Write it down. Take a minute and write down what your ultimate income goal is. Every single one of you, I can see a few of you on my screen right now. Take a minute and write down, what is it that you want to achieve in your business? I've told this story before. I'm going to tell it again because it's such a great story, but it has to do exactly with the 5 steps. So years ago, I was in a meeting, and I was out in a country, Georgia, and I was in their city, their capital city, Tbilisi. And I was in a meeting, and I asked everybody to go through the same process. But I asked everybody to write down their goals before we got started. So everybody was in there. It was quiet. Spent about 20 or 30 minutes so they could really understand what I was asking for. And then when we got to their personal goals, I asked them, I said, will anybody share their personal goals with us? Is there anybody willing to share their goals? And 3 people raised their hands. First person, I want to make an extra $1,000 a month. Now in Georgia, in Tbilisi, that's a lot of money. So I can understand where they were coming from. That's actually a very good income. The next person raised their hand. They said, I want 5,000 a month. I said, that's a great number, you know, and it's attainable. Let's talk about it. The third person, she raised her hand and she said, Aaron, I want to make $10,000 a month. And I said, that is a beautiful goal. What is that for? She said, well, I want $10,000. I said, I understand. Why? What does it do for you? What does it do for your family? What does it do for your lifestyle? Tell me what this does. Tell me what it represents to you. She said, well, there would be nothing better than getting $10,000 a month in my bank account. I said, I agree. For what? She said, well, just to have $10,000 a month, think about what I could do. I said, exactly. What could you do with $10,000 a month? And she sat there and she looked at me. And then, folks, she started crying. And tears were running down her cheeks. And she said, if I had $10,000 a month, I would be able to get my kids out of poverty. They don't have a father. I'm the only one that can provide for them. My children go to the poorest school district, the poorest school in Tbilisi. They don't have new clothes. They don't have new shoes. Everything is handed down to them. It's given by friends or family. And so I would love to give them beautiful clothing and I would love to give them new shoes. And she said, I would love to move out of the area that we live, the postal code. I would love to move to a new area of Tbilisi. I would love to give my children something better to look forward to, a better school system. I would love to give them higher education. I would love to take them to dinner. I would love to take them shopping. I would love to show them a holiday. I would love to save money so they have a future. I want them to have better than I can give them right now. That's why. Now, folks, everybody's crying in the meeting. Everybody's just broken up about this. But what we realized is that immediately everybody started talking to her and saying, what can we do to help? How can we embrace you? How can we come around and help you achieve that level of success that you're looking to achieve? That's what you have in this industry that you don't have anywhere else. And I say that because you don't get it at your job. If you're working a 9 to 5, you're not getting somebody that says, boy, how can I help you? How can I give you a leg up? How can I give you more than you thought that you wanted or than we could pay you? I'd like to give you double your salary. Nobody does that. Nobody does it because it just doesn't work that way. They only have a fixed budget. So they're only allowed within their budget to pay everybody whatever amount that they can pay. So what I want you to think about is that when you're thinking about your personal number, I also want you to think about who is it that you can work with, that you can share this vulnerable information with, that you can share this personal detail with. Who is it that you can talk to and share your number with? So think about that as well and write their name down next to your goal. Write their name next to it and think about who can I call, maybe tonight, it might be late, or tomorrow. Who can I call and tell them what my goal is and how can they start working with me and how can I start working with them to achieve that goal? Because once you really understand what you're trying to achieve, once you really understand what direction you're going, what direction you're headed, it will allow you to be focused and intentional on how you get there. Because once you understand your why, it becomes clear and it becomes achievable. So you have to realize it's going to be our goal to help you achieve your goals. Now, I always tell people this. People make a lot of promises in this industry. Oh, I'm going to help you achieve everything and you're going to make it and we're going to do it together and on and on and on. And half the time, people don't quite show up. So you have to realize the reason that I asked you to write the name next to that income goal that you have is that I want you to make an absolute effort tomorrow or tonight to reach out to that person and say, will you help me achieve my goal of X? And if you'll say that to them, does two things. One, you've just put it in your mind. Once you have it in your mind, you've manifested, you've been given this opportunity to tell people out loud, this is my income goal. Now that you've done that, they now know. Now that they know, they have the ability to work backwards with you and start to teach you the basics on how to get started, to start rising through the ranks, and ultimately get to your income goal. And here's the reason why this is so important. About 98 or 99% of people that join network marketing that don't stay in network marketing for very long, that end up falling out or falling away from the business, still continue to order product, still love the product, they still love the culture, they love the community, but the reason that they quit is that they say they didn't have upline support. Can you imagine that? They say that the person that brought them in didn't help them. They say that the person that brought them in didn't give them the wisdom or the advice or the information that they needed. And if they didn't have it, they could have introduced them to somebody else that does have that knowledge, that information, that wisdom to teach them the things that they need. So again, what we need to understand is that we're being vulnerable, extremely vulnerable. We're opening up our hearts, we're opening up our minds, and we're opening up our kimono to say, here's what I want to accomplish. And I'm going to give you everything I've got. Now, it takes two people. It takes two sides to make this work. So that's why I always tell people, start working with those individuals that you can start working with, that you know and you believe in, are going to help you achieve that level of success that you hope for. I tell you all of these things because here's the most important aspect of what we're talking about. The most important aspect is that once you start understanding what it takes to get to your ultimate income goal, guess what happens? You now teach your people the same thing. And it goes right back to duplication, because ultimately everything that I'm doing, everything that I'm working towards is something that I can't do alone. In this industry, in this business, I can never be successful without any of you. It's impossible. I have to surround myself with great, competent, successful people. And it doesn't mean everybody's running towards a number in terms of income goals. It doesn't have to be that way. Everybody starts by thinking, how can I get healthier? How can I get wealthier? How can I get happier? And not in those order. So the ultimate goal is to try to understand, what is it that I'm trying to accomplish? And what is it that they're trying to accomplish? And can we work together to get there together? Because again, we can't do it alone. We have no capability to do this alone. I've asked thousands of people over the last 17 years, hey, were you able to get to that rank by yourself? No. I have thousands of people underneath me that have helped me achieve that level of success. So guess what? It starts with that. It starts with one person, two people, three people, four people. It starts with 9 people. It starts with 27 people. And it starts to grow. And that's the way the organization starts to take shape. And that's why I always tell people it's foundational. You're really building on this foundation that starts to grow, and that foundation has incredible people and incredible knowledge. And again, like I said, incredible wisdom, people that understand each day-to-day activity and what it takes to do it, and then how to successfully support you in trying to accomplish it. So again, everything we talk about here reverts back to the relationship of the people that brought you into the business or that you brought into the business, and how you can help them achieve whatever it is that they're trying to achieve to become successful in this industry. Now, most people will say, I've asked the same question. Have you been successful in this industry? And a lot of people say, yeah, I've been successful. Is it to the level of success that you would have liked to achieve? Most of them say, no, I would like to go so much bigger. I'd like to do so much more. I'd like to do so much better. But the bottom line is, it takes day in and day out effort. It's not something that you can do part-time if you have a big number or big goal. It's not. It does not have that capability. So if you think about it from that perspective, you've got to constantly be working and growing and learning and understanding. And so as I talked to this guy today, he said, it was really interesting. He said, when I got in the industry, he had come from a very learning background, a lot of education. And he said, when I got in this industry, I realized, it's not just about learning. It's about doing. You can't just sit back and learn and learn and learn. A lot of people say, oh, I want to get on a call and learn more about the product, and then I'll be able to go out and do something with it. I'm telling you, it doesn't take that. What it takes is perseverance. What it takes is dedication. What it takes is intention. What it takes are the basics of day-to-day activities that you set up and you organize and you arrange, just like a business. Now, I hate to keep on harping on Michael Firth, because he's the guy that makes it easy, and I can also see him up there on my screen. But the reason that I bring up Michael again is that Michael sets up his calendar every single day. And literally, if I'm not on his calendar and he needs to have a chat, we have to find a time that I can squeeze in there. And just like my day, Michael has to find a time to squeeze into my calendar. But every single one of those days are intentionally organized in order to facilitate every single need that he can fit in a day. So Michael, I know, does a very full-time professional network marketing business. This is what he does every single day. Now, he's paid extremely well for it, and he does extremely well in terms of how he handles his professionalism. And I've always said that. As a matter of fact, when we were on the boat, I can see Genevieve, when we were on the boat, I said, you know, I want to thank Michael. And the reason that I say that is because Michael raises his hand for every single thing. Even if we don't need him during that day, he'll say, hey, I'll be there if you guys need me. And why does he do that? Because he wants to make sure that we look professional. He wants to make sure that we do the best job we can, that we represent his company, your company, our company, the way that it should be represented. For that, I applaud that, because ultimately I want people that are driven like I am. I want people that are excited like I am. I want people that match my energy, and I want people to have great success. And I want to celebrate the wins. I want to celebrate the things that they're doing, the things that they're operating on, the values that they have. I used to tell people, you know, what are the characteristics and traits of great leaders? Characteristics and traits of great leaders, number one is integrity, but it should be your ticket in the door. It shouldn't even, it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that you have integrity. If you don't have integrity, you shouldn't be there in the first place. So ultimately, the goal is, how do we create that relationship where people recognize these characteristics and traits? I'll do a training on it sometime so that you guys have some of these characteristics and traits. It's a wonderful training. It's a lot of fun, but it digs into what are the things that we do every day, and how are we either feeling like we're falling short, which we probably aren't, by the way. We just know that we have our inadequacies in our minds, but we really are doing it every single day. But the ultimate goal is to start to really look back and do a bit of reconciliation and try to determine, what did we do yesterday? Are we doing the things that we need to do every day, or do we need to pivot or redirect our energy, redirect our focus, redirect our thoughts and our ideas and our practices? Because maybe the things that we're doing every day aren't necessarily driving us the way that we need to be driven every day. So I tell you all of these things because ultimately what we're doing is we're developing incredible leadership in the field. And guess what our jobs are as leaders? To develop leaders. So we're doing the job every day to help people achieve those levels of success that they know they can achieve. They're just not sure how to get there. We've told them they can achieve them. They just need some direction. We've told them how to do it. Now they need our help. And so once we can start helping them and give them a helping hand and give them the knowledge and the wisdom that we talk about, we'll start to see people have great success. But the only way they'll have that is if they start with the basics. So you've got this incredible Neumi 1, 2, 3. It's your easiest way of introducing people to not only our leadership, not only our products, but to other upline and people that will help them achieve that level of success. Now, step one, once they enroll, get your return on your investment. Step two, get my product for free. Step three, how do I achieve that level of success of just having a lifestyle change in my life? How do I change that for my family? How do I change that for my monthly budget in terms of what I bring in? And then getting to your rank is just another goal that you have on your sheet. But getting to your income goal, that's really where you want to go. And that's the ultimate goal, and that's the ultimate job that we need to start working on, is that as we start running up that, it will really give us the opportunity to achieve that level of success that, again, I know every one of us wants to achieve, but we're not sure how to get there. So write that name down next to your income goal. And tonight, send them a text. If it's too late, do it tomorrow and ask them, will you help me? Or if you get it and you're seen as that person that will help them, you immediately respond and say, absolutely, because I want you to have some belief that I can help you believe in what you're doing, and most importantly, believe in yourself, because we are, and I talked about this as well on the cruise, we have this incredible social capital that we built up. You are the brand. You are the product. You really are. And a lot of people don't understand that, but it's you that represents you. And so people, they join you. And so that's what I always tell people, is that you have to be cautious, because when people think that they're going to join another company, or they're going to join something, or some product, or whatever it may be, recognize this, folks. They're joining you and your social capital, your currency value. It's all based on what you do every day and how you do it and how you represent yourself. And I always tell people, social media can be a curse, but it can also be a blessing. If you really use it wisely and you do it the right way and you put yourself out there and you do it professionally, that's where you start to see some great gains. But if you do things that are wild and erratic and maybe not so classy and not so cool, you might find people dropping away from you and not necessarily wanting to be a part of you. If you oversaturate yourself, people may not want to see that much more of you. They may not want to follow you. They may not want to be a part of that. But if you really are intentional and you really follow some of the leads that are out there, you can have great success. So with that being said, everybody, I want to thank you again for being a part of this call tonight. We have a lot of people on the call. I love it. I know that we're on Facebook and YouTube right now. So we've got hundreds, if not over 1,000 people that are currently in this game watching this piece. And I'm so excited about it, because what it does is it tells me that you are very interested in having success in your life, that you're going to take this same conversation, the same information, roll it out to your teams, really go through the simple steps. And by the way, if you get with Sergio, he can get you this whole presentation. You guys can have it whenever you want it. You can use it tonight. You can use it tomorrow. You can do it whenever, because Sergio will give it to you. And I tell you this because I think it's fairly well baked. I'm pretty sure. So I think it's something that we can get out to you, but I want you to use it, because I want you to onboard your people so that they understand that there is a path to go. And if they can understand that there's a path to go on, they'll start running. They'll start walking to start with. They'll start, maybe jogging or whatever we want to call that nowadays. But the fact is that they can then start running, because once they know their path, it gives them the ability to move forward, again, intentionally. So with that being said, everybody, thank you for being a part of this. We're going to have an incredible close to the month this month. What a phenomenal month. So just, again, get back out there, teach your people, give them their income goals, give your income goals, start collaborating with your individuals that have made the commitment, create that belief for your people. And with that being said, I'll turn it back to Sergio. Thanks, everybody.
Well, thank you so much, Aaron. I think I couldn't add much more than what you just taught us today. We had an opportunity to, as you mentioned, have a training a little bit different than what we usually talk about, hydrostat technology. We really went down to the basics and really saw how this opportunity takes it on and what you need to do to get going. Now, tomorrow, I want to invite you back for the party at 6 p.m. Mountain Daylight Savings Time. We'll be back here for Members Night. I will be doing some story sharing from some of the newest diamonds. I will be sharing some of their experience. And you do not want to miss tomorrow, because we're going to talk a little bit about how you can have some fun and possibly even winning some prizes by being part of a hair testimonial contest that we're doing right now. So we want to see more Neumi hair testimonials, and we want to invite you to be a part of that. So don't miss out tomorrow. Again, we will have this presentation for you, but first we will invite you to rejoin us next Wednesday, 11 a.m. for all the people in Europe, 6 p.m. the traditional time. So we will be back again with Aaron on the 5th. So congratulations. What a great outcome. A lot of good people from everywhere. It's good to see so many faces from all over the world. We appreciate you. We love you, and we wish you much success.